Alright, so I'm gonna just have a face-to-face video today about our 5 Parsecs from Home campaign that I've been running for the past couple of weeks, months, and how it's progressing. I did some kind of battle reports in the beginning, and we've run through probably 7 campaign rounds since then, and since I can't film it here on location right now because I have a newborn at the house, so trying to have like 5 dudes in here yelling and screaming at each other over rules and battling it out on the tabletop isn't really feasible. I have to take the whole campaign to someone else's house, and that's really difficult to film that and recreate it. And like I said, I have a newborn at the house, so trying to squeeze in videos here and there is difficult as well. I get an hour or 2 to myself a week, so usually it's taken up with other stuff. But let me just bring everybody up to speed on what happened during the campaign and what we're going to do in the future. So basically, some of the people in my group are lawyers, and what lawyers like to do is they want to do whatever they want and not break the law. And how do they do that? And so the game became their own kind of game within a game with how much can I get away with and still work within the rules. And I made the mistake of letting them have a copy of the book to read, and they poured through it and were able to hack the game basically. But they didn't break any rules, so I'm going to explain some of the exploits and the weaknesses of some of the rule sets within 5 Parsecs from Home. So the first one is the luck points. If you pick a human, you automatically start with like 1 luck point, and you can get up to 3 luck points when you spend your experience points. And basically what a luck point does is it gives you an extra life. So instead of you taking that final hit or dying, you can spend a luck point, you dodge out of the way, and you keep moving. So basically you can get a maximum of up to 3 lives by doing that on the tabletop. The second exploit that people were using is you min-max all of your characters. So if you have 6 characters, you get 1 guy and you maximize their stats into defense. So you make that person almost untouchable, unhittable. The one character that is best used for this is the robot, because they already have a 6+ armor save. So you reduce that down to a 5+ armor save, and then you give him a bunch of shields and barriers and upgrades of that sort, and then you cannot touch that guy with anything. The second stat dump that you can do is in ranged weapons. You can have one person that gets a sniper weapon, and with a scope and gun stabilizers and all of that, they can only miss on a 1. And if their range is the entire size of the battlefield, they have a 24-inch range, then you just prop them up on top of a tower somewhere. They never have to move, so they aim every time, so they always re-roll 1s, and they can only miss on a 1. They'd have to roll double 1s to miss at any one given time. And this will get even stronger when I show the third exploit in a second. But the next min-max you can use is your hand-to-hand combat. You get 1 guy with a maximum hand-to-hand combat, where they can kill anything on the field as long as they get into weapons, into hand-to-hand combat range, and stuff like that. So their team was very well designed. Don't get me wrong. I'm complaining because I'm the DM and I got my ass kicked. But I mean, you have to appreciate how well everybody did with playing the game. Now the third exploit of the game, let me think here. What was the third exploit? It was the most powerful. It is Panic Fire. Panic Fire. That's the one that really broke the campaign for me as DMing the game. And basically what Panic Fire does is you at half your range, which if you have a 24-inch range and it's half is 12 inches, like if you're in the center of the board, you can hit anything on a 2-foot by 2-foot board. So you just have to move up a little bit, and then you can Panic Fire and you get 3 shots instead of 1, and you expend all your ammunition for that weapon that you're carrying, right? So what they would do is they would get a military rifle and a colony rifle, and on their first shooting round they would Panic Fire with the military rifle, which gives them 3 shots. And then on their second round they would Panic Fire with their colony rifle, which is another 3 shots. So that gives a player character 6 rounds of shooting in 2 rounds. And now my guys who are NPCs, non-playing characters, they can't do that. And they don't have luck either. So I can't exploit any of these advantages on my side. So when you have a team of 6 crewmen getting 6 rounds of fire on your guys in 2 rounds, that's 36 rounds of fire that even if I cheat and I put more people in, 8 people, they have to sustain that kind of damage, that kind of withering fire. And these guys have got their stats pumped up to where they can't miss. And the other thing was, I'll admit, like in my campaign, I rolled a lot of 1s and their side rolled a lot of 6s. But it really didn't matter because, I mean, I was getting mopped with the floor, or whatever the saying is, with my guys. So by the end of the campaign, I did 2 things to try to counteract some of this. The first thing I did was I cheated my ass off. When I say that, I would scour the book. I would find the most powerful enemies that I could use whenever I rolled, and it's like, oh, well, your force is -1 to how many the player character force is. I'd pump that up to like 2 more, 3 more characters than they had on the field. I would give them rattle guns, which give me 3 attacks per on players. But if you're if you're shooting at a robot that has force fields and shields and armor saves, you can shoot at him all day long and you're probably not going to hit him, But that's the first thing I did, is I cheated as hard as I could, and I still couldn't beat them. My only other option was in the last campaign round is I used the Psyker, and through my DM magic, I mind controlled half of their crew. So that 3 of their 6 crew, they had 8 crew members, so I mind controlled 4 of them. I picked the best ones that they had. I picked their sniper, I picked their hand-to-hand combat guy, and Hobo Joe, and another guy, right? So I let the other guy keep his robot, but since the players were on the player's side, they kind of played a little half-ass, half-hearted. Like they moved, but they didn't take advantage of a lot of their skills. And then I had like a Psyker, which gave me 3 luck points of my own, which I burned through when they had the one dude who could just like Panic Fire, 3 times in a row. I was burning through my luck points like nobody's business. And then when I would roll to scatter, I would actually roll and I'd scatter outside of cover. And then now I'm out in the open. Now I'm even closer to their dudes than I was before, which was not fun. But anyway, at the end of the game, it's like, okay, look, we've broke the game. I mean, I've fielded the most powerful stuff that I can field in the book against you guys. And I've invested a lot into this. My players have invested a lot into this. We don't want to quit. So what we do is we're going to reset. This week, we're going to start over. We're going to re-roll new characters. We're not going to have any of the cheats in. We're not going to have any of the kind of fluff that I added to our campaign at first, because in the first scenario, they stayed on Earth and they didn't have to pay upkeep. And so they just stayed on Earth, and I had to push them off the planet. I had to come up with something to get them off of there so they would start like actually having to pay upkeep for things and fly their ship around and use their ship for something other than like just storage locker. And so we're going to start fresh this week, and we're going to start off on a nondescript space station where they have to leave the space station on turn 1, you know, after the initial battle or whatever scenario fight we're going to do. Another update on the other thing that was cool about the campaign was when people went out exploring and trading and stuff, what happened to their characters was very indicative of what would have happened to what you would think their characters would do. Like there was the female sniper. She always had existential crises going on. She attempted to leave the crew several times, and only by spending star story points were they able to keep her. She was always like head in the clouds, kind of always like trying to figure herself out. The other guy that had an interesting story arc was Hobo Joe. Hobo Joe got into a bar fight or got food poisoning eating bad sushi almost every time he went into town. You know, so that was a very interesting aspect of the game. So there was a lot of role playing going on with the game. And the other thing was like they got really lucky in rolls, man. I mean, they got like epic armor, rattle guns, which is one of the better weapons in the game because you can shoot 3 times per turn. And I was rolling for them, so it's not like I let them roll and look on the table and cheat. Anytime they went exploring, every time they went trading, I would make the rolls, or I'd have them do the rolls and I'd look it up on the chart, you know. So even being as fair as humanly possible, they did really well. So this game can be manipulated, but it's still fun. It's still worth trying out. We're still, even months later, we're still moving forward with the game. Now, the other thing is like I don't have any of the stuff in here because since I have to move and I have to play the game off-site, I got really lazy and I just kept all the crap in my car. And I never unpack it. I was unpacking it and packing it, unpacking it and packing it every week, but that got tiresome. And so I've really slowed down on the painting aspect. So I haven't done any paint. That's why you don't see any painting videos, is because I just kind of gave up on doing that. But that's what happened with the end of the campaign, and we're going to start over here later on this week. And thanks for watching my video. See you next time.